Hi, everyone, and welcome to another FSElite interview. I am joined today by Marco from XCrafts, and we are going to talk all about the Eject family that was shown off in a trailer this morning. So, hi, Marco, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. It's a nice, lovely day here, although I actually managed to lock myself out of the building this morning because I went to check the bins and then I realized that they changed the keys uh, yesterday and I didn't have the right keys. So I spent the day, just spent an hour waiting in front of the building, waiting for someone else to go to work.
Oh,
And it was
man.
pretty cold here in London. But other than that, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Oh, man, that must have been annoying.
It was
Hopefully,
very annoying. Also, it was like 6:30 in the morning because I wake up really early to start working really early, and then it was too awkward to ring random like flats and
yeah.
wake people up to let me in. So that was funny. But yeah, I'm good.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you're back in. Oh, man. Um, so, yeah, other than being locked outside of your flat, you obviously spend a lot of time developing aircraft for X-Plane. So earlier today, if you haven't seen it, I advise you just pause this interview, go back and watch the trailer that was shown off this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are at FlightSimExpo, and that was a brand new teaser trailer for the Ejects family by yourself. So if you could tell us a little bit more about the product, maybe the community who are watching aren't too familiar with your work, that'd be really good. And then also maybe discuss a little bit about some of the key differences between kind of the previous versions that you've built and what to expect from this new one as well.
Sure. So I'm Marco. I'm the founder of XCrafts, and we've been developing aircraft for X-Plane for about almost up to 8 years now. And we've always focused on Embraer airliners. So the first add-on that I ever created was the Embraer E195, and after that I created E175, and those were the E-jets that are still being sold as version 2.5 right now. And so after that, I worked on, or we created the ERJ family, which are the ERJ airliners from Embraer. And so now, years later, basically, we are finally very excited to release the new version of the E-Jets because the first E-Jets that are still out are basically anywhere from 4 to 7 years old. Certain parts of the models, certain parts of the avionics, and everything. So um, then we spent many years working on the ERJ family, and in those years, we've really learned quite a lot how to develop certain things that we didn't know before. We've just progressed in every part of the process. So I would really like to say that comparing the new images that will come out and the old one is almost like apples and oranges. You know, they're so different. It's like iPhone 1 and an iPhone 10. It's not just one generation. It's just a whole new level basically. And what I'm really hoping to achieve with the E-Jets is I really want these to be the best E-Jets made for any flight simulator ever. Like I cannot promise that that's going to happen immediately from version 1.0, but that's the ultimate goal where I would really love to see these products go. So I was actually planning to not create new planes from scratch. Initially, I just wanted to update the EJets to version 3.0. I wanted to only update the avionics and the cockpit model. But then when I started working on it, I had resources, I had pilots that fly the real planes, and they could give me dimensions of the real cockpit. They could give me the dimensions of the parts, of the knobs, of the levers, of everything, because you have to understand that it's really, really difficult to model these planes because you don't really have those dimensions. You just have the pictures, and the dimensions could be anything. And we don't have access to documents that would give us the specific dimensions of every part in the cockpit. So now that I had the pilots that sit in the cockpit as their office, I could just ask them to measure, everything that I needed, which was a much, much better starting point. So when I started modeling the cockpit of the E-Jets from scratch, uh, I very soon realized that because it was much more accurate, that suddenly when I tried to put it in the old fuselage model, it just didn't fit. Like the windows were all like they just didn't fit the windows in the cockpit, and so I realized, okay, the fuselage model is also wrong. So that means I'll have to remake the fuselage model. Well, that also means that if I do that, I have to fix and remodel the belly, and then if I do that, I have to remodel the wings and then engines. And basically, I realized that it doesn't make a lot of sense to try to update something that's wrong from the beginning. And I just decided it would be much better to start from scratch. So that's basically what happened. And now I've been working on this, and certain other, like Steve was also working on this. There's more people in XCrafts. We've been working on this for quite a while. I personally have been working on it for 2 years already, so it's been a lot of work. And so I really encourage you to actually go to XCrafts, xcrafts.com, to see the difference, because I'm going to show you right now. If I go to XCrafts and I'm going to go to Eject's family development, which is where we are right now, if you scroll down, I created these interactive pictures where you can see the new on this side and the old model. So this is the old model and this is the new model. So you can see that it's just totally different. Here is a picture of the cockpit, this is the old one. You can see that basically everything is there, but everything is wrong. And the dimensions are wrong, the angles are wrong. There's nothing on the side. The yokes are all just different. So when you look here, this is how it's supposed to really look like. So I really encourage you to go. If you go down to development updates, you can go to compare new the exterior and cockpit, and there are many pictures like these, which is really a lot of fun. Actually, I finished this yesterday, and you can see that it's like a totally different plane. So this is the real thing right now. I'm just going to show you this one because I'm particularly proud of this. So this is the previous gear, and this is what it's really supposed to look like. So I really encourage you to go, to xcrafts.com and check these out. We have loads, and it's a lot of fun, and it really shows like the progress and the growth that we've been able to achieve. And also obviously, like there's going to be a big difference in the avionics, which on these pictures are not updated yet because it's all work in progress. But if you like, we will basically all the avionics will be they will all be high resolution. We will have a new FMS, which I'll talk about more. We'll have lots of new stuff. So those are the key differences.
So this is no longer really a version 3 release. This is totally brand new.
No, this is a brand new built from scratch. And also it means that everyone's going to have to buy them again, but the existing customers of the previous older Ejects will get a discount. I still didn't decide how much that's going to be, but all of the Eject customers will get a discount for these. Because you also have to understand, it really there's so much work that went into this. It's really worth every penny. I promise. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so there's going to be plenty to kind of go do some deep dives. You've been doing quite a lot of development not interviews, but like the previews and stuff. You've got your comparison imagery and all of that. Is there anything else that's changed? So you mentioned about the avionics and the FMS. What about interaction with like weather radars and stuff like that? Is that the sort of thing that will come
well, we will have a new nav map, which I'm very excited about, because this is the one thing that I've hated on XCrafts products from day one. Basically, the problem with the nav map is that the default map from X-Plane is just really, really, really old. It's about 10 years old now, and the resolution is very small. And there was no way for us developers to customize it like we can customize other instruments. The nav map was just there, and we couldn't really change anything about it. So, and you also have to understand that finding someone, like this is such a niche area of software development. Like you have to find someone who knows how to use X-Plane, who knows a lot about aviation. So it was very hard to find anyone who could make a custom map. I've been looking for literally years. And last year, basically, I finally found the right person who could do that. And so now the map is already almost done, and it's going to look exactly like on the real planes. And it's just beautiful. And it's also going to be retrofitted in the ERJ family later. So the ERJ family is probably going to be version 2.0. It's going to have a lot of new stuff as well. And the map is going to be one of those things.
Awesome. I'm sure many people will be excited to finally get these jets in the sky.
Definitely.
So this is going to be obviously the next generation of E-jets for you, and you've talked about the comparison between the old and the new. Why did you want to yet again go through the process of making the E-jets versus maybe a different aircraft type to add to kind of the XCrafts family?
Okay, so this is a great question. I would say that I think just that people deserve better, and I know that we can deliver better. And so I think, why should we focus on other planes when there are so many areas in which we can improve on the products that we already have? And I would really love XCrafts to be great and not big. Like, I was thinking about a metaphor, and I came up with, I would not like XCrafts to become the McDonald's of flight simulators. I don't want to be spitting out planes, several planes every year. That's just so much work, and and then we would have to just cut down on the quality. And so what I would like to be the fine dining restaurant of flight simulators. I want to be the one place where it doesn't have 100 items on the menu, but maybe only has 10 items on the menu. And so I want, for any customer, when they come to XCrafts and they pick any item from that menu, they will know that it's going to be a great product at a fair price. It's going to be stable. It's going to be perform great. It's gonna have continuous development updates. It's gonna have user-friendly interface, and it's gonna have the relationship with us. I really want to stress out that I want us to be kind of like really have a great personal relationship with the customers. I want us to be like the chef who comes out of the kitchen and just talks to the customers, and they can chat with him, like, and it's great, and they can tell him what he can improve. So I want exactly that. So therefore, I would really like to focus on the E-jets and the ERJs and make sure that they are just great for now. And once we are done with that, well, we can see, but there's so many areas and we can improve and just deliver better products. Then until then, we'll work on this.
Excellent. I think there's going to be plenty of people that's going to be music to their ears to know that they're going to get a quality E-jet for X-Plane and improve on what you guys have already done. So one thing when I first saw this announcement and stuff, obviously the E-jets family comprises of numerous different aircraft types, like from the E175, the E2, the E195. There's plenty of aircraft within that family. Have you thought about kind of that release plan and how people can purchase all of these? Will they be different models, or could they buy a couple? And what's your plan for getting these out to the consumer when you're ready next year?
Well, first of all, the E2 versions are not going to be part of this. This is solely all focusing on the classic E-jets. The E2 version is something that could be a potential new separate project after the ERJs and E-jets family are finished and like stable. So those are not going to be part of this. But what is going to be included is the E170, E175, E190, E195, and the Lineage 1000. And they're all going to be released at the same time. This is very important because I am envisioning that there will be certain bundles with the products like we already have with the ERJ. So I want there to be a bundle that's the E-jets family. I want there to be, you can buy them all separate or all together. I'm also thinking it would be great to have, the Legacy 650 with the Lineage 1000. I think that would be a great bundle for like business jet lovers, basically.
Yeah.
And so if we released one before the others, then this would break the chain kind of. So that's why it's taken also quite long, because developing 5 aircraft at the same time takes quite a lot of time and pre-planning, and everything needs to kind of fit. So that's why it's just taking a lot of time, but like it's definitely going to be worth it. And so in the teaser you can see the E175. That's because we are focusing first on that specific one. Once we develop everything for that, we can then just go and finish the E170, and then we'll do the E195 because we already have a base for that from the previous ones, and then the E190, and then in the Lineage. So yeah, basically that's the plan. They're all gonna come out together, and I'm excited about these bundles also.
And the plan is 2022 release timeframe. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Like I totally realize that everyone just wants to know when and when. It's just really, really hard
Yeah.
to, with a project of scope like this, to just predict anything. Like, COVID happened. I've just had a family emergency recently, so there's always life problems that get in the way, and I just don't want to promise something I know I cannot really deliver. So I'd rather not say anything and then just do it when I'm almost done, or like then say it when I'm almost done, than to say something and then not deliver it, because people have very high expectations, and I don't want to release something that's not ready, and I also don't want to tell them it's going to be done when I don't really know. So,
Yeah.
but I am fairly certain that 2022 is going to be the year, because I also really want to be done with this. I'm very excited, actually. That's what I really want to do. I just want to get it out and want people to have these planes, because I already love them, and I want people to have as much fun as possible with these.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned community's high expectations. I think it's fair to say, as a community, we do have high expectations of products, especially really highly sought after aircraft such as the Ejects. So and you also mentioned as well about using pilots to help you with like dimensions and stuff. Are you using those pilots as well to help test the aircraft to make sure that they fly and they behave as the real aircraft as well?
Yeah, definitely. I actually have too many pilots right now, which is funny because they're all reaching out and they really want to help, but it's not very productive if I have 20 plus pilots all telling me certain things. So I have a big group of pilots, but then I have a I'm really working closely. We are really working closely with a few of them, which are really really involved. And then once we get to like beta testing, we will send them to probably all of the Egypt pilots they wanted to help us, and see what, just get their feedback really. So yeah.
Excellent. And I guess in terms of the realism, in terms of system depth, what sort of system depth are you aiming for with these aircraft?
So it's always a hard questions, because there's just so many systems, and also the first thing everyone asks is it going to be study level thing? And I just think, okay, this is a completely relative thing to everyone. Like someone can think of a study level of something completely different than someone else might. So I just don't want to. I will never say something is or isn't study level sim. I'm just gonna say, okay, these are the systems that are going to be included. So we will definitely, there's going to be a lot of interaction between the autopilot and the FMS, like in the real planes. So we're definitely gonna do that. I don't know how much of it is going to be done in the first release. We definitely already have a lot of the avionics updated, and I'm still going to be working a lot on that. Basically, we will try to improve every area of every system. We can't get to all of them immediately, but what's not going to be there initially, we'll always keep working. As with the ERJs, like the ERJs were released about 2 years ago, and we've just released a new update, a month or two ago. We keep working on the updates. That's what I don't want to forget older products, because there's always so many areas that we can improve. So basically, we'll just try to make the best systems we can from the get-go, but then we'll just be adding whatever's missing later. Like for example, like there is the steep approach for the E170 and E190. I don't think that's going to be part of the initial release, but it's definitely something we want to like include, because it's something very important to the real pilots as well. Yeah. So there's loads of things like that.
Okay, cool. So plenty of updates to come, as well as the initial release, and all of obviously the updates that you're bringing to the new version of this aircraft as well. So speaking of next generation, speaking of new things, obviously X-Plane next generation, as it's been formally called, and potentially X-Plane 12, is been shown off by Laminar Research a couple of times now. We've seen previews, we've seen the new lighting engine, we've seen the new autogen stuff, and I'm fairly sure over Expo we're going to see plenty of other bits as well. So as a developer then, who develops for X-Plane, what are you most looking forward to from a new version of X-Plane, or what would you most like to see from Laminar Research for the next generation of X-Plane?
So I'm obviously most excited about lighting the rendering engine, the updated one, because that's what I just think X-Plane has been lacking. It's like several years behind other games, unfortunately, but for very specific reasons, which I understand as well. But I'm definitely super excited about that being updated. I also really hope that it's gonna be fairly simple to convert X-Plane 11 add-ons to X-Plane whatever next is going to be. Like it will be great because like technically, if I drag and drop the new ejets into the new X-Plane, it should just work even better than it looks now, because the textures and all the materials and the models there, like the base is there, and whatever the rendering engine is going to be, the better it's going to look. So I am hoping that it's going to be fairly simple to update that. I'm also, as a developer, very excited to just have a better interface for the plane maker, which is the software which we use to work with the airplanes, and they're gonna change it to a 4K resolution, because now everything's super tiny on my 4K screen, so that really doesn't make things easy. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the autogen stuff. I'm just generally very excited. So there's a lot of place for improvement, but I think we're in a good place, and I really appreciate, as a developer, the openness and just like the accessibility for us developers to learn how to create things for X-Plane, and just like the resources are all available there, unlike with some other flight simulators, which is not so easy yet. So I really want to say thank you to Laminar Research for that. I really appreciate that.
I'm sure the team will eventually watch this and appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully over Expo, we're going to learn a little bit more about whatever the future of X-Plane holds. We know that they're having their press conference and their presentation. In fact, I think this interview will be out after that, so we should technically have learned everything from that. But yeah, super excited about what's to come. And it sounds really promising, hopefully, that you can just drag and drop in and everything will be good. So my final question then is around FlightSimExpo. So your trailer dropped this morning. One of the first things to actually happen over the weekend at FlightSimExpo. So why did you choose FlightSimExpo to release this trailer rather than just dropping it randomly beforehand? And do you think as well other developers could benefit from having their products announced or showcased at an expo in the future?
Well, I just think it's a great opportunity because all the eyes are on this event right now. All the whole community is looking is very excited about this, especially because of the X-Plane 12, hopefully. So I just I couldn't attend, unfortunately, but I thought this would be definitely a great opportunity to release a trailer like this. And honestly, it also pushed me quite a lot to get to a point where I can record the plane, like basically finish the exterior of the E175, which was a great motivation for me to do that. But I think it's a great event, and I'm hoping that it will have that a lot of people will see it, and I hope that a lot of people enjoy the event as well, and will be excited. I'm hoping that people. I want people to know that they should always be able to come and just talk to us. We're always there. I want us to be very approachable. We're very, very open. I also really want to, because like without the community, we wouldn't know what to do. We're making it for them, and we really appreciate the feedback. And I'm always trying to find ways to just bridge the gap between the developers and the customers. And so, for example, because of that, I'm just gonna do a little plug here. Yeah. I have another newsletter, which is like what I created, which is a newsletter, but it's not a newsletter because it's not something that I will be bombarding you with like marketing emails every week or every month. This is just a way for me to share like the behind the scenes of X-Plane, of XCrafts, and what we do, and why we do things, and I show things like what it really took to create the landing gear, and I can actually show you. In the end, I had to buy a whole 1:10 scale model of the landing gear of the E175, which was pretty awesome. Now it lives in my living room. So I explained to them why I had to do this and what it meant, and there's loads of really cool things that we're sharing there. So I would I encourage people to go to xcrafts.com and then just click on another newsletter and subscribe, because it really isn't that often that I'll send you stuff. But all the people that read it said this is actually the only newsletter that they actually read, which was like the best compliment I could have possibly gotten.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I'm signed up. I do appreciate the insight.
Awesome.
And it's it's always really cool to learn a little bit more about how you digitize an aircraft for people to fly and simulate and stuff. I think it's remarkable. It blows my mind how you guys managed to do this. And yeah, it's really cool to kind of get that insight into how you're bringing these aircraft to life. So yeah, I would highly recommend people sign up.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to understand what is going on behind the scenes, because it just kind of reveals the magic a bit, but also makes it even more interesting when you understand how much work goes into this, and just how this is even possible. So I really I think I'm doing my best to explain these things. I wish that I could explain more of the FMS side as well, but hopefully one of the next Naughty newsletters will be focused on that. That's probably going to be written by Steve Wilson, which I just wanted to mention. I didn't talk about the FMS and the new Eject, which probably a lot of people will want to know. So we are going for an authentic FMS that's going to be just inspired with the real FMS in the real plane, but we will also have the Tecton FMS, which we already have, just updated from the ERJ family, and we'll also have the default X-Plane FMS if anyone just wants it. So we'll just have a selection in a menu where people just pick whichever FMS they want to use, because we just want to give people the options. And but yeah, we're now heavily focused on the authentic FMS, and we're excited to bring that, because that's definitely a very important part of the jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. I've thoroughly enjoyed learning a little bit more about kind of yourself, XCrafts, and obviously the Ejects, and hopefully people who are watching too have picked up a few little bits here and there. So if you haven't already, please do go watch that trailer. It's really cool. It gives you a very good first look into the E175, the next generation of it from XCrafts. But Marco, hopefully you get lots of positive response from the trailer and people sign up to your Not Another newsletter. And I hope you enjoy watching Expo from home, which I know many of us will probably be doing as well. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you might see you at a show in the future.
I hope so, and thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been great talking to you, and yeah, everyone enjoy the teaser and make sure to find all the carrots in
it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Marco. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.